Hey, welcome back, guys. This is our first actual talk episode. Crazy. We were so blessed by just all of the support that we got so far. I mean, this was just us kind of throwing something out there to see what you guys thought about what our hearts were just feeling, and just all the love, all the support has been fantastic.
Yeah, so we definitely want to say thank you to everyone who viewed our first little intro video, and those who subscribe. We are just so blessed that you guys are teaming up with us for this.
Thank you. So what we were thinking for today, just because most of you guys watching this kind of know us, but maybe you don't know as much about where we came from. Those of you who know me more, you know more about my background, but maybe not about Shaunta, and vice versa.
Right, like he grew up on a farm.
We have proof. Some of you guys agree with me. It was not a farm. It was more of a ranch, if anything. In the mountains. We'll get into that. But what we're thinking is just kind of how our different backgrounds were so different, but within that there were still things that kind of developed in us that kind of drew us to each other.
Yes, like his choice of movies.
We'll get there. And I feel like it's more on my part. But there's some things. But it's just that in so many things in life, just ways that we develop, ways that we grow, that lead us to each other, and then also ways that we help each other learn and grow and stretch and find new things and have fun in new ways.
Right.
Because that's what I mean. What's the point of being a married couple if you can't learn and grow together and learn from each other?
Right.
Right?
Like his style.
I knew. I was going there.
Like his style. Come on. He looks amazing. He's so handsome.
Hey, I have this beard. I kept this beard because
I take full credit of the beard and the bald. I take full credit. Okay, so a little bit about our backstory. I am from Sacramento, born and raised, and I grew up practically in the city. You know, I went to school out here, I went to college out here, I did everything out here. And so my upbringing was very much different from Caleb's. I danced and cheered and did a lot of like community service, things like that. And so, of course you didn't dance. We will talk about that later, okay? But I grew up, you know, basically living the city life, but I feel like Sacramento isn't really like, you know, like a big city in a sense where, you know, there's not like we have a subway, or, you know, there's not like things that really make it like a city. I call it a suburban city.
Yeah. You
know, because there's more like home areas and neighborhoods.
You can ride a train around though.
You can now, but there wasn't a light rail when I was born. You know what I mean? So there's like things that has progressed. That's the word? Progressed? Yeah.
Grown. Sprawled.
Yeah, there's things that have progressed since, developed since, I've been here for 20 plus years. But when when I was a kid, we didn't have that. Like, you just had like big neighborhoods is what we call them, where it's like you would have like your shops and your grocery stores, and you would kind of just stay in your neighborhood. And Caleb didn't really grow up like that. Like his little area where he grew up can probably fit in one neighborhood in Sacramento. And so he grew up in Weed.
Yeah, Weed, California, which is a place. Many of you know that, but some of you still are like, wait, what? Weed's a town? Huh?
But I love Weed, California. It's very true.
We even have a store called the Weed Store for merchandise. Not a sponsor.
Yeah, I have a shirt from there.
And so growing up from a place like Weed, California, which is in real Northern California, because Sacramento and San Francisco don't really count as Northern California. They're central. Divide California up. There's a northern, there's a central, and there's a southern.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Central's like Fresno.
Sacramento too. So growing up in a place like that, up in the mountains, I mean, yeah, if you took the entire city together, I mean, there's 3,000 people in, sorry, not city, town, hamlet. Hey, we just got our first stoplight just a couple years ago. So we're actually moving up in the
world. And a Starbucks.
And yes, we did get a Starbucks. Surprised by that one. And so it's definitely an interesting place to come from in the mountains like that, because I grew up with land and with horses and cows, not a farm. Because no, it was more of a ranch. There's cows and horses. We didn't grow like mass quantities of food. That would be a farm. Make sense?
I feel like you grew cows that turned into food.
Yes.
Therefore, it's a
ranch.
Farm.
So I grew up going out to the woods and hunting mushrooms with my family and going and yes.
That's what he calls picking, by the way.
Yeah, No, you go hunting for mushrooms because they aren't just laying around. You got to go find them in the woods, and it's like hunting for them. You hunt for mushrooms. They're delicious.
Pick.
Morel mushrooms.
They're very delicious. They're really good. Yes. But when he said hunting, I was like, hunting mushrooms? Do they run away from you?
No, they do hide though. But anyways, so that became such a part of me, just the fishing, the hiking, the camping, all of those mountain things. I remember being about 14, and for an entire year, I didn't go more than 30 miles away from home. Because there was no real need to. Yeah, it was so fun, and that's everything you need is there. It's everything. So that's a little bit about me, and there was so much about me that kind of formed my character, the way that I would express and talk about things. And we'd go on little trips, and we'd talk about. I would mention like trees and color of grass. She's like, "Yeah, they're green." I'm like, "No, but look at it. Look at the type."
No, okay, listen. He is very descriptive. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one thing he didn't tell you, is when he was also a kid, he read a lot of books.
Yes.
Because they didn't watch a lot of TV. I am like the TV queen. Like I tell people I talk in
They talk in moving quotes.
I talk in movie quotes and music lyrics. Like that's my life, you know? And so he doesn't fully understand. Like I can only do that with my sister and my brother because it'll go over his head. He is very descriptive.
Yes.
So when he is like talking about a tree, he goes, "Oh my gosh, can you see the angelic way that it lines up with the other trees and the pine needles with the dew on them that just turn, like you can just see the glow from the sun and it makes him greener than green and you can see the amber color on the aspen trees."
That is not how it
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, I tell him all the time he just needs to write books because the way that he describes things is how you would read things. He writes like he reads.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I mean, it, you know, obviously it didn't bother me that much because we're married.
Yes.
But I mean, like, when you first start hearing people talk like that, you're like, what? Mm-hmm. But he grew up reading a lot, especially a lot of descriptive books, which is why he talks the way that he does.
Yeah, very much so. And you really didn't understand me fully, you said, until you actually went home and saw the mountains for the first time.
It wasn't even the mountains. It was you in the mountains because I feel like you're like two different people, and it's like you're like City Caleb, which I'm pretty sure his dad does not like. So what's wrong with you? And then there's like home Caleb, where he's like all about in the mountains to the point where he talks different when he gets around his home life.
I'm sure everybody does that though. Like
I don't.
But you're still here.
Exactly. So next was high school, obviously, and like our years as teens. And so I went to school, obviously, in Sacramento. I'm not going to say what school, but if you are a cougar, you know where I'm from. And we were the best. We really weren't, actually. Our football team sucked.
We were also the Cougars.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Our football team was not the best, but I was a cheerleader. I cheered my last 2 years officially at the school. I was a part of our dance team. I was almost about to say what our dance team was called, but I decided not to because if I say it, you'll probably guess where I went to school if you know Sacramento. And I had a very interesting, I feel like, high school experience. I had the best group of friends that loved and hated each other all together. And I feel like with one of my friends moving back to Sacramento, we should definitely do I guess appearance of them, and we can talk about it kind of because it's kind of not PG. That sounds bad, but if I tell you, you'll understand. There was just a lot of drama, and I feel like drama comes with high school. At least for me, it did. I'm also a girl. I feel like Caleb didn't have the same type of drama that I did, but it's fine, you know?
Well, because cool. I didn't go to public high school all the time. I mean, granted, I went to Weed High for 2 years. Yes, Weed High. So I started off charter school, and then I transferred in because for me, One thing, I mean, we can maybe get into this later, but one thing that I had to overcome for many years was, and God had to just really help me, was my own insecurities. And there were parts of me that for some reason I just was like, I'm not smart. I had to prove myself in almost every situation. There were specific things that happened that I remember that kind of led me to be that point.
Which I don't understand, because he's like extremely smart. He's so brilliant. And I'm like, you thought you weren't smart?
Thank you. But to me at the time, I felt like I had something to prove to myself mainly. And so I remember like transferring in my junior year, small school, I had a graduating class of 48 students.
That's crazy.
And so it was one of those things that just kind of, I enjoyed so much, but I look back now, I'm like, man, I should have had more fun. And I've gotten a lot more fun. Or I've been able to have more fun, I should say.
I feel like he's relaxed. I feel like you probably took yourself real serious.
Yes, I did. Like, I know 100% I did. And that's one of the things like people say, like, oh, if you could look back and, you know, give yourself advice, what would it be? And for me, it was have more fun. Not give up on school and stuff, because that formed who I am, but to be able to, you know, be able to let loose and just be able to embrace humor. And that's one thing that our relationship has helped me with as well, is in new ways, fun and to chill out.
Yeah.
So high school was one of those things that for me it was very formative, just because I was able to prove to myself. But then at the same time in my mind, oh, it's just Weed High School. You know, it's just, you know, it's a small pool, so academically, yeah, I excelled. But what, you know?
And you know what?
What?
We're going to do a clip for one of Caleb's presentations.
Oh no.
And we're also going to go get a milkshake, because cravings.
Okay, let's go get a milkshake first.
Throughout the history of the United States, our nation has risen to face challenges in our midst. Whether during the Great Depression or in the wars we fought, our nation's citizens have risen to face those trials. However, no trial has been as difficult for our democracy as the Constitutional Convention of 1787.
Milkshake time. I don't know why, but this has been like my biggest craving.
And so it started off with raw vegetables.
Raw vegetables. Yeah, my craving list. So I had like a really bad first trimester, and then all I was able to eat was like raw veggies.
Like I would make like dinner and I'd surprise her and she'd get home from work and I'd have like I mean, it wasn't a big thing, but you know, I'd spend time making this dinner and everything, and then she'd walk in the house and she'd be like,
the smell,
and
everything.
Then just walk through and it was just like,
I know,
man.
like my favorite thing is Brussels sprouts, and I haven't been able to have Brussels sprouts at all this pregnancy.
But right now it's definitely milkshakes. Second take, their machine is busted here. So next McDonald's, here we come.
Yeah, this is a thing where like I can't just get over it.
Nope. It's like just like an icy won't do.
No.
Ice cream won't, like regular ice cream won't do from a store.
No.
Chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate milkshake.
And she'll stay up awake thinking about it.
I will.
Until we get one.
And I'm not sleeping well, so I really need my milkshake so I can sleep well, if that makes sense.
A few minutes later.
So excited.
It's the little things.
It is the little things in life, but I feel like it's also a really big thing. So I'm really praying
Technically, it's a large milkshake.
Really praying that they have milkshakes.
Yeah, could I please get a large chocolate milkshake in a cup, please?
Yeah.
Large milkshake. And it's in a cup.
Aren't they always? What are they going to do? Pour it in my hand?
Technically, you could. In your pocket. I've done that before for a prank video.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
So good.
You happy?
Very happy.
Okay, we're back. What?
Okay, so we're back.
Mm-hmm.
And we just came back from getting who a milkshake? Me a milkshake.
A large milkshake.
Yes.
Yes.
However, I want to ask everyone, what do you consider a sip? Because apparently our sips are different. Me, a sip is like it's like that much. of a drink of something, right? Caleb's sip is like...
It's like the straw full. It's like, that's a sip. Like,
how do you know what a straw full is?
It's that. It's not a full mouthful. It's a strawful.
It's a drink of something. His sip is a drink. Like, can I have a drink of water? Can I have a drink of your drink? Not, can I have a sip of something? He literally took a sip of my milkshake that was like here to like here. And this is why we don't share food and drinks, because his portion sizes are different than mine. I'll ask him for a bite of something and I'll take this much. Not because my mouth is small, because it's the polite thing to do. You take this much and I bite it and then it's gone. He takes a bite of something, I have half my sandwich. You know what I mean? Like,
this sounds very important to you.
It's very important. And you can't, let's not even get started on the whole fry situation. When he ate my fries and didn't even ask me if I was done with them. And I told him I was over it. I'm not, okay? I'm not over it.
Do I need to buy you a whole thing of fries?
Yes.
Make up for it?
Yes, because you ate my fries. I was still eating them. I literally went to go get something to drink and came back. And they were gone. I'm not over it.
I think for me, it goes back, and you kind of realized this when you understood that growing up, for me, if you didn't eat fast and just eat, like, you didn't get a lot of food. Because growing up in a family of loggers and mountain people and going around, and we would go and you'd sit down to the fried chicken and mashed potatoes, and if you didn't eat fast, you're not getting seconds.
Or thirds.
My brother,
because they get thirds and they get fourths.
Yes.
They will eat until everything is gone. And
it's amazing.
His dad and brother are like that too, which I didn't really think was a big thing until I probably had my first meal with them.
Yeah.
I only have one.
I'm sorry about the milkshake. I had a sip.
Oh, okay. So what we also realized is our portion sizes are different.
Yes.
Because I remember asking you for, what was it?
You asked for like a little bit. You're like,
yes,
could I just have a little bit? Could I have a little bit more?
It was
a pie?
Yeah, I remember because your mom had made like pumpkin pie.
Yes.
So I said, can you give me a little
piece
of a pumpkin pie?
Yeah, I gave you a little piece. I mean, that's like.
So.
It's like
exactly.
an eighth of a pie.
Exactly.
Is a little piece.
And this was when we were dating. So we weren't even married, and I was at your parents' no, we were engaged.
We were engaged.
It
was at Christmas or something.
It was Thanksgiving.
And
I had asked him for a piece of pie. I said, can you give me like a really small piece of pie? And he brings me this plate, and on the plate there's a piece about that big. Like that big. I don't even know. Like, you can see, like, it was that big of a piece. Like, it was literally that big. I said, half of that would have been too much. My portion size for how I eat is half of a small for you.
What I have found, though, that with the smaller portion sizes, it allows me to separate the food all out easier. Because somebody can't have food touching.
I can't, exactly. This is why my portion sizes are small.
Like, you can't have, like, mashed potatoes and broccoli touching. Like, you can't touch it all.
No.
Or stuffing and turkey.
No.
You get the full flavor, like, everything mixed together.
No,
it's all the meal.
He's one of those weird people that mix it all together and then, like, eat it. And I'm like, I like to
eat. You want a little bit more of one, a little bit less of the other.
I'm having anxiety just thinking of that.
So good.
I like my stuff not to touch. I'm like one of those kids that has like those plates that has like the different sections. They need to make those for adults, is all I'm saying.
I think they do.
Well, we need to purchase them.
Okay.
Because that's like my best friend.
But I think what this all just kind of what we've learned through getting to know each other and our different backgrounds, we have similarities, and we'll get into that maybe when we talk about when we started dating.
Yeah. Or when our friendship started.
When our friendship started, and then when we started dating, and our whole story. But I think what we come to realize is that with all of our differences, It makes us who we are. And by understanding our past, understanding where we came from, what we like, how we have different views on portion sizes.
Definitely. The fact that I know how he grew up with his brothers and his dad and how they eat and, you know, him reading and stuff like that helps me understand, like, if he's having a hard day and he's like, I just want to read or I just want to zone out and listen to an audiobook, I know, like, that's just his way of, like, coping with things. Just like when I'm having a really hard time, like, putting on music is how I cope with things. And I am a music lover. Like, I will listen to music more than I will watch TV. A lot of that deals with my background with dance and cheer, as well as, like, my family and how, like, music to us just brings out your moods, or it can help you with your moods and stuff like that. And so I think with us knowing that.
So yeah, I mean, with our past backgrounds and stuff, we are who we are. Yeah. We are who God made us to be. And it's beautiful because we're unique. Yeah. And we bring different perspectives and different growth.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about us. It's like we're not similar in a lot of things, but the things that we're different in complements each other really well. And I think we really got to know that as being friends. And so our next video, we will be talking more about our friendship and our relationship.
And why I kept the beard.
Yeah, and why he went bald.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that too.
So yes, so you know what? Life is very complicated, but simple at the same time.
So we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.